Hello, Noah.
Hello, Sheriff Paula Dance. How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
Sheriff Dance, so nice to have you on iHollywood TV. So first off, you are the first African American female sheriff in North Carolina. Tell me your plans leading the charge for changes in the prison system.
Absolutely. When I first won in 2018, I ran on a platform of change for people with mental health issues and the co-occurring substance use abuse, poverty, those types of things. Because I recognize with all my years of experience that these are the people who find themselves criminally justice involved. These are the people who keeps coming through the revolving doors of recidivism. And I wanted to address that issue. I don't believe in throwing people away, and I think people make mistakes, and they ought to have an opportunity, to correct those mistakes. Now, after they've been held responsible and accountable for whatever it was that brought them into detention in the first place, but we ought to be giving the people the tools. And so when I came in, that's exactly I hit the ground running, started programs that address substance use, that's addressing mental
Mm-hmm.
health, that's addressing trauma. That and oftentimes trauma bring people into the criminal justice arena,
Mm-hmm.
and just addressing recidivism as a whole, reentry, because I want people to be better. I want people to do better. And most importantly, I want people to stop coming to jail.
You know, one thing that I admire so much about you, Sheriff Dance, is you want to actually teach these inmates to not come back to prison. And you say that in the season 8 premiere episode. I think that's a really powerful thing to say. That's something great to actually hear from a sheriff that actually cares. They want the inmates to learn while they're there and how they can prevent from coming back to jail, which I think is a really important thing. Can you talk to us more about that?
Well, it's important to me because I recognize that everybody wasn't born on third base. Everybody didn't grow up in an environment that a lot of us grew up in. And sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
just have to work a little bit harder, as we navigate our way through this thing called life. And some people just don't have or never had the resources or the tools to do that. And so what I aim to do, and is to give them those tools that will help them be successful. For instance, I've brought in the GED program inside of the detention center. And so when people leave, they're leaving now with GEDs, they're leaving now with connections to resources within our community, untapped resources that have been sitting there for years. And so now I use those resources. Now, when a person leaves the detention center and those doors open, there are those resources to pull them the rest of the way, whether it be through housing, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be through other avenues that are here in the community. Let's use them. That's what they're meant for. They're not meant to just sit there. And I certainly aim to
Mm-hmm.
use every one of them that I can, because it's not about me. It's about making people well, making people whole, and giving people the resources that's going to help them to do better.
Now, Sheriff Dance, just out of curiosity from doing this series, what were some of the most common drugs that you were able to find with the participants going undercover that we can catch and watch in the show this season?
Well, I'm going to let you watch the show and let you see that. Don't want any spoilers. But
Yeah.
as you will see from the very beginning that there are some things that's going on in the detention center. But I don't want to give
Mm-hmm.
anything away. I want to make sure that you stay interested and watch the show.
Yes, we'll definitely have to tune in and watch the entire season of season 8. Now, Sheriff Dance, we will see the men in the pods with inmates that have violent charges. How high of a risk is it for a participant to possibly get hurt, but how important is it for them to not reveal themselves in the pod?
Well, both are important. That and there was a selection process. I actually had an opportunity to do some training with the participants that came in,
Mm-hmm.
and these were things that I wanted them to know um, before going in. They knew what the risks were, and to have that follow up question: Can you do this? Are you ready? Are you sure? And if they can convince me that they were, then we were good to go. They had a mission. They knew what my expectations were. Um, those
Right.
participants already had their perception of what they wanted to see as change. And So we kind of commingled the two, their perception of what they wanted
Hmm.
to do, my mission of what I wanted. So we both, you know, entered into this show to accomplish.
Hmm. Now, lastly, Sheriff Dance, when you watch the first episode and hear some of the issues that are going on inside the women's pod, what is your take and reaction to that when the women are complaining of the staff as they're told to drink water from the toilet? What?
Well, you have to recognize, and I've been in this business a long time. You have to recognize
Right.
that inmates will say a lot of things that
Hmm.
if they're not comfortable, and I don't want people to be comfortable, but I can assure you they're not drinking out of toilets. Let me make.
Right.
But jail is not supposed to be comfortable. I don't want you to want to come to jail. I want you to stay out of jail.
Yeah. Well, Sheriff Paula Dance, thank you so much for your great conversation. We are out of time, but 60 Days In Season 8 premieres Thursday, June 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Pacific on A&E. Sheriff Dance, you take care. You have a great day, and we will be watching Season 8.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.